All right, let's dive right in. Today we're going to talk about movie piracy, but probably not in the way you're thinking. See, you might think it's all about saving a few bucks on a movie ticket. But what if I told you the pirates aren't really targeting Hollywood studios? Nope, they're targeting you.
So let's be honest for a second. Is watching a pirated movie really a victimless crime? I mean, who actually gets hurt, right? Some big faceless movie studio? A billionaire producer? It doesn't feel like a big deal. But that whole idea is built on a massive misunderstanding. Because the real product being sold here, it isn't the movie. It's you.
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, you might imagine some dark server room somewhere, but no. This one started with a pretty standard complaint. The Telugu Film Chamber of Commerce went to the Hyderabad police about a new movie that had leaked online. Seemed like business as usual, but it was so much more than that. This was just the very, very tip of the iceberg. And here's what really set off the alarm bells. It wasn't just any leak. Investigators found another film that had been leaked in perfect HD quality, a full 18 hours before it was even released in theaters. I mean, think about that. A shaky cam recording is one thing, but this meant someone had gotten inside the system. Police Commissioner C.V. Anand knew right away this was something big. He wasn't interested in just nabbing a few low-level guys for a press conference. No, he wanted to go after the whole thing, to pull the entire operation out by its roots.
Okay, so how on earth do you even start an investigation like this? I mean, the police had almost nothing to go on. All they had was the lowest quality piece of evidence you can imagine. You know the type, the kind of pirated movie we've all probably stumbled across at some point.
Yeah, it's what they call a cam print. Literally, someone recorded it with a hidden camera inside a movie theater. It was blurry, shaky, just awful. But hidden inside that terrible video was a tiny clue. Using some pretty cool tech, they analyzed these invisible digital watermarks in the footage, and boom, they were able to trace it back to a single screening at a specific theater in a suburb called Adapur. Just like that, they had their first real lead, a location.
And this is where the real detective work kicks in. It's actually pretty brilliant. They knew the theater, they knew the screen. So they focused on the seats in the center corridor. You know, the best angle to get a good recording. They pulled up the booking chart and started cross-referencing it with the theater's CCTV footage, looking for anyone acting weird. They managed to narrow a full house down to just 44 potential suspects. And from that small group, they honed in on one guy, Kiran Kumar.
And boom, the first domino falls. Kiran Kumar confesses everything. He says, look, I just get paid to do this. I get anywhere from $150 to $500 to record a movie and upload it to a Telegram group. The pay just depended on how big the movie was. He was the foot soldier, you know, the absolute lowest rung on a very, very tall ladder.
So once they had Kiran Kumar, they had their next clue, that Telegram upload. It was like a digital breadcrumb. The police started following that trail, from the private group all the way to the websites where these movies were actually being hosted. And suddenly, the investigation completely changed. It went from catching one guy with a phone in a theater to taking down a seriously complex and tech-savvy criminal network.
And as they dug deeper, it became really clear they were dealing with two totally different kinds of piracy here. On one hand, you had the cam recordings, done by guys like Kiran Kumar. But on the other hand, you had those perfect pre-release HD leaks. And that, well, that's a whole different ballgame. That requires a hacker, someone who can actually break into the secure servers of the movie distribution companies themselves.
And that's what led them to the hacker, a guy named Ashwini Kumar. And get this, his profile is probably not what you're picturing. This wasn't some supervillain in a high-tech lair. He was a 21-year-old kid from Bihar with only a high school education, hacking multi-million-dollar movies from a tiny little room. He just taught himself how to find weak spots, like employees using old, outdated software, and he'd use that to get in. He told the police he started doing it just for the thrill of it, but then he realized he could get paid, and paid well, up to 90,000 rupees a film.
The other key player was the guy actually running the websites, Cyril Raju. Now this guy was a computer engineering grad, and he thought he was untouchable. He built this whole digital fortress around himself, using IP spoofing to make it look like he was logging in from Europe, and he even had 25 CCTV cameras monitoring his own home. He was so confident in his setup that he apparently told the police he was just shocked they ever managed to find him.
Okay, so this brings us to the biggest question in all of this, the central mystery. You've got the recorder, Kiran Kumar, he's getting paid. You've got the hacker, Ashwini Kumar, he's getting paid. And as you're about to see, the website guy, Cyril Raju, was making an absolute killing. So if the movies are free for us to watch, where is all this cash coming from? Who's footing the bill?
Okay, you have to hear this. Cyril Raju, the website operator, was earning 9 lakh rupees every single month. That's around 10,000 US dollars a month. I mean, that's way more than he'd make at any legit tech job. And it gets crazier. He was actually in the middle of negotiating a raise to $25,000 a month because his piracy services were in such high demand.
So let's just pause on that. A guy running a free movie website is making 6 figures a year. How? If there are no subscriptions, no ticket fees, nothing, how is an operation like this so incredibly profitable? What is the real business model here?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and honestly, it's kind of brilliant in a completely criminal way. The movie you're trying to watch for free, that's not the product, it's just the bait. The real business is online betting. That's the secret. This entire massive multi-million-dollar piracy racket is funded by illegal online betting and gaming apps. The free movie is just the cheese in a very well-designed mousetrap.
So here's the scam, laid out. These shady betting companies pay pirates like Cyril Raju a ton of money to run these websites. And in return, the pirates plaster the sites and the movies themselves with pop-up ads and watermarks for these betting apps. They know millions of people are going to come looking for a free movie, and a certain percentage of them are going to click on those ads and get sucked into these addictive and often totally fraudulent betting schemes.
And this right here, this is where the whole story turns and looks directly at you, the person watching the free movie. Because when you visit one of these sites, you're not just a passive viewer. Oh no, you are the target. You are the product that's being sold to these betting syndicates.
So what are you actually putting on the line when you click on one of those links? Well, for starters, you could be heading for financial ruin from these betting traps that are designed to make you lose. You're opening the door for malware to be installed on your computer, your phone. Your personal data gets scraped by cookies and trackers and then sold to the highest bidder. And what happens then? Well, your details can be used for all sorts of financial scams, fraud. It's a huge, huge security risk.
Let's just break it down really simply. You think you're saving a few bucks on a movie ticket. What's actually happening is that you're trading away your personal and financial security. You think you're getting a free movie. In reality, you are becoming the product. You might feel like you're outsmarting some big studio, but what you're really doing is walking straight into a financial trap that was set up just for you. So the next time you see a link for a free movie floating around, just ask yourself this one simple question. Yeah, you might save the price of a movie ticket, but is that really worth risking your bank account, your personal data, your entire digital safety? Because the true cost of that free movie, it might be way, way more than you're willing to pay. Thanks for tuning in.